Okay.
All right, call the meeting to order. This is a virtual meeting for the Town of Guilford Shellfish Commission for the month of September 2020. This will also be live streaming on our Facebook feed and I believe reposted or played on GCTV at various times. So we can start with a public forum.
Can we just state who's at the meeting at the moment? Just have everyone say who they are. You can give me the names of everyone, please.
Sure, just a second. Something just happened with my... Oh, that's the agenda. Sorry. I'm trying to get my participant list. So we have Peter Charland, member of the commission, myself, Ed Lombard, member of the Shellfish Commission, John Siviak, a commissioner, Keith Harvey, commissioner. We have Warden Alan Brown as a commissioner, and Judy Castellano as our recording secretary. Did I miss anybody?
I believe we have Mike Bowen, who's just joined as an observer, who has expressed an interest in joining the commission.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, welcome,
Hey,
Mike.
Mike, how you doing?
Hey, Mike.
Good. How's everyone? Hi, Ed. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Well, we'll do it during the public. Mike, do you want to give us maybe a little bit about yourself or?
And Mike, can you spell your name, please, and your residence?
Yeah, my name is Mike Bowen. Last name is spelled B-O-H-A-N. I live at 184 Stonehouse Lane in Guilford, over
Thank
by
you.
the fairgrounds.
Mhm.
Little background about me. I'm a lifelong resident. I actually grew up one house away from where I live at 198 Stonehouse Lane. Been where I currently am since 94. Love the town, love fishing in the town. Had a Shellfish Commission license for a number of years. Peter and I have worked together, and I have a vested interest in the environment in town. My wife's a member of the Agricultural Society, the fairgrounds, and I have a vested interest. I would like to have a vested interest in the Shellfish Commission. I own a boat. I have since 1991. Keep my boat down the town marina. I'm an avid fisherman and like to go out and hang out in it as well. But just love the town and would like to contribute whatever I might be able to.
All right, great. Thanks for that.
Thanks, Mike.
Sure.
I personally know Mike also living basically as neighbors for my whole life with him. And I can think he would be, once he gets to feel of it, if he's still interested, would be a strong candidate to fill any open position that we have on the commission, knowing his love of the water and boating and shell fishing and all that. So.
Good. Ed and I throw rocks at each other.
Yeah, we have one of those love-hate relationships. I think it might be me. So.
Nah.
And I love you.
There you go.
Love you too. All right. So I'm going to, if there's no other public information or if anybody has any questions or anything with Mike, I'll move on to the minutes of the August 12th, 2020 meeting. Does everybody receive them and have a chance to review them?
Yes.
This is Keith. I motion we accept the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. We'll jump right into commercial activity. Licenses.
Great. Allow me to summarize. For the finally for the month of our accounts receivable, I tally a total of $4,864 of all residential license collections, starting with $345. Guilford Shellfish Commission, Alan Brown, thank you. 4 non-res, 1 day, 4 res senior, 1 res. Captain Morgan's for $3,944 via check. 36 non-res, 18 non-res senior, 21 res, 7 res senior. Guilford Shellfish Commission, Ed, I believe this is your efforts to help people needing to find licenses, since Town Hall is not selling licenses for us. So a total of $575 of 5 non-res and 8 res. Again, total $4,864.
Okay, one thing about Captain Morgan was he said that he had missing numbers in his series.
Okay, did he record the numbers, do you know, or should I get in touch with him this week?
I think he wrote them down.
Okay,
I mean, usually
Okay.
there have been duplicate numbers, and what he's done is call 1A and 1B, but with the missing numbers, I think he just made a note of it somewhere. If
okay,
he didn't, I'm gonna have to call him.
okay. Yeah, usually he does a pretty good recon right at the top of the check. So we can take a look at that.
Were those numbers sales for the month?
Correct.
Yes.
Good.
We have some very, tends to be May through August, tend to be very popular months to sell licenses. And then Captain Morgan's lags a month or two because he sends them to an accountant process. And we get them back. So those sales might actually be like July that we're getting now from him. So
we tend, Mike, to have about 80% of our revenue. About 80% of it goes back into stocking. The rest is boat maintenance and miscellaneous. But we tend to be plus or minus $52,000 a year in accounts receivable from a combination of residential as well as commercial license sales.
So Peter, will you be around tomorrow? Can I drop that off to you?
Sure, I will. Text me in advance when my days are filled with Zoom calls and WebEx, but I am here.
Okay.
We put the agenda back up.
okay. So the next item is the bills and correspondence.
Excuse me, Ed, just a second. So there was no commercial activity information to report, right? This was
Correct.
recreational?
Yes.
Okay,
Commercial.
so commercial activities, there was no receivables from commercial activity, right?
Correct.
Okay, I just want to be clear. Thanks.
So the next item was bills and correspondence.
Sure. Let me start with our accounts payable for the month. We have a bill from East River Marine for boat service. That's the 20-hour check, if I recall, $190. Judy Castellano, Secretarial Services, $53.25. Nancy Matsiowski, data entry for $79.88. Alan Brown, warden fees for $920. And Fred Hill, warden fees for $120. Total payables for the month is $1,363.13.
I motion we pay the invoices.
Good idea.
This is Keith.
Was that a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Did anybody have any correspondence from any shellfishermen, citizens, neighbors, anything like that to report on?
This might be the place where I do mention that we do have, it's informed by the finance department that we do have a payment that was made by check that did not clear. We made multiple attempts to reach the individual who we have his information. Promised to get a check sent along with the $30 fee for the return check. So $105. He's been unresponsive. It is an issue of what we do. Theoretically, this is actually a bad check written to the town of Guilford, which by all measures could be forwarded out to the police. But I just don't know what the commission's feelings are here.
Does anybody have thoughts or input how we proceed?
Do we know who it is? Has he used the license?
We do.
We know who it is, and we don't know how much he's used it, whether he just bought it and then used it the one time, or how often he's using it.
You had sold this one. So resident of the town of Madison.
So I don't know how we want to proceed. Now, Peter, we want to be careful with the account numbers going up on the screen. Sorry, I just know it's public. I don't want to get any trouble. But does anybody have any thoughts how to proceed? Do we flag that license number, and if any wardens see it, do we bring it to the attention of the police, or does anybody have any thoughts?
Well, I think we should know all of our wardens should know the number on that license, and if we come across it, first thing we ask him to do is give it to us, and if he doesn't give it to us, we'll call the police department and get them down there, and then he'll give it to us. That would probably be the way to go. That's the best we could do as wardens, would be to be watching out for that number.
All right.
I agree with Alan.
So is that kind of
Yeah.
We also, then, I think by policy, we would ban this individual from having a license in Guilford going forward.
I agree with that part of it also.
They'll distribute the information to the wardens, name of the individual, license number, so wardens have it as record.
All right.
Could you issue it to everyone?
Sure.
Okay.
It's
Thanks,
an
Brett.
out-of-town license, right?
Correct.
Madison.
Okay.
Has that happened before?
Not as far as I know.
I haven't seen it in the last 5 years or so.
What's typically the procedure for that person?
We haven't run
mentioned
into it before.
You tried to collect already on this
So,
person?
so in this case, Town Hall reached me because I'm the treasurer of the commission. And I spoke with Ed and a couple of the commission members, and I agreed to reach this individual on a friendly basis to make, and he did respond saying, oh, it was an old checking account. He was going to send me one right away. I gave him an address, told him to address it to the town of Guilford. I never heard from him again after 2 additional attempts, even this afternoon, because I did mention we'd bring it up during the committee meeting, which is live streamed over the internet and played on GCTV, and I did not hear from him. So, we do follow up on these matters. But at the end of the day, when our recourse needs to be civil. I think the commission banning this individual from having a license in the town is probably a suitable remedy.
Do we need to vote on that, Judy?
Since this is unusual, you probably want to, so that you could set a precedent for another time.
Okay.
If you want to, this is a procedure that you might want to be in written form and part of your ongoing policies.
Okay.
When it comes up again, and if you vote on including that in your policy of working with the public on recreational licenses. So someone should make a motion to say something like that, where this is going to be set for you and set a precedent.
I propose a motion that failure to collect on a check that does not clear, the committee agrees that we would ban that individual from possessing a license for shellfishing in the town of Guilford.
I second. Keith
All in-
Harvey.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Yeah, I think I've never seen a bad check come through. We don't really receive that many checks, but never seen that.
Well, actually, I'd rather receive a check than cash. So if they have checks, I always tell them to give me a check.
All right. Let's move on to warden's reports.
Okay, the warden's report is that we were very busy in July was very, very busy. August was very, very busy. September now is starting to slow down a little bit, but of course the first week was a little hectic, but it's still slowing down now. But it has been very, very, very busy all through July and August. Very busy. Everything went well. There was no big problems. Most of the clammers are the kind of people that are down to earth people, and they work with each other, and it worked out well. Our biggest problem is that we are dealing in my area, that's Great Harbor, is that we're dealing with not only the clammers, but we're dealing with people with boats and kayaks, and plus people want to go to the beach because a lot of beaches are closed. They're using this beach here as the place to go to. It's busy when it's high tide, and it's busy when it's low tide. And the bad part is when it's low tide, of course, here comes our clammers, and now they start finding problems trying to get a parking space. So, and that did get the neighbors up in arms for a while there, and I got in between them and the clammers, and I tried to help them understand what was going on, and they seemed to calm down a little bit, but they were very upset about it. And the other problem is that we have a speed problem down this road. People coming, it's like, it seems like, not the clammers so much, but the kayakers seem to come in at, like, they're gonna run out of water if they don't get down here real in a hurry. And some are going too fast, but I don't know if we can do very much about that. I told that to the people on the street. And other than that, no problem. They said, well, there's people parking behind each other. I said, well, yes, they are, but I always ask them if they know the person in the front, and they always do. So there's nothing you can do about that. And we got clammers, and we're going to have clammers, and we just got to learn to live with it. And if we have a problem, I'll try to work it out for them. That's the best I can do.
Okay. Thank you for everything you've done. And I would also kind of personally recommend, if it's kayakers and stuff, they're not clammers, kind of let them dig their own grave. Don't, it's.
Well, I don't give them any problem. We don't give them any problem, not at all. We don't suggest that they don't come down here at a certain time of the day. I mean, they have as much right as anybody else, so we can't go around demanding that they don't come down here. But I'm just saying.
I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying, if the kayakers are speed, if you see a clamor speeding, you can nicely say, hey, as you're checking his license, hey, let's watch the speed or something. But kayakers, they're not shellfishing, so we.
So yeah, I had one example that someone had called me because they were looking to launch their rowboat, and there was and Alan, I spoke with you about this. There was a cone in the access area going into the marsh that they would normally use, and I said, that's not a matter for shellfish. I mean, that becomes a DEEP issue. We have no jurisdiction over access out, to any part of the water, other than the fact we have areas that were authorized to have shellfishing beds. So he was great. And he said, I understand that. He goes, I'll launch somewhere else. And that was the end of it. And to Alan's point, people are very reasonable.
Well, go ahead.
But the point is that we don't have any jurisdiction over, access and easements outside of shellfishing to, reaching the beds.
Well, that's true.
Yep.
But the problem, people address it with me. They ask me, can I go down there? Can they not go down there? And the DEP is the one that messed that up because first of all, one of the neighbors, this park has a house right next to it, started complaining. And so the DEP come down and put those cones you're talking about there, then put a sign on top of the cone that said, no vehicles past this point to go down in there to drop their boats off. So that closed it. Then I guess a bunch of people complained about it into the DEP, and somebody higher in the DEP turned around and opened it back up again, which means that they removed the cones. And without any information, they ask me, I just say, I don't really know. It's not my jurisdiction. I can just tell you that they refused to have you go down there before, but the cones are gone and the sign is gone. So you do what you want.
Yep.
And I guess they can now back down there and take their boat off. They don't leave their car there. They take it up and they'll park it on wherever they can find a parking space. So that was the problem with that.
Yep.
And
That's
like
good.
you, Peter, I've had at least a dozen phone calls this summer. And same thing, I said it's a DEP issue.
Yep.
It's out of our hands, and if the sign says don't go, don't go. Or it's your choice kind of thing. I said we don't have any,
Yep.
control over it. It's a state issue kind of thing. So that's the
It
way
seems to be okay now. The sign's gone and they are backing down there, and evidently the neighbor called the DEP and they evidently told them that they're letting them back down there now to take their boat out of the back of their truck or car, whatever it is, and then pull the car back out. So there's no cars down there, but
Okay.
it's been solved. Let's put it that way.
Okay,
Very good.
great. I don't see any other wardens on for any reports. So I guess we can move to subcommittees. First subcommittee is recreation. I think Peter kind of hit these numbers on the item 2 with the license numbers. So we already have those. Oops. Sorry, phone call. We already have those numbers on record. So we can move on to water sampling. Bob Berger has been handling this as I've been very busy this summer, but he's been handling it and we are up to date on all of our sampling. He needs to try and get a couple more of the storm rainwater samples this year. But if we get some half-inch rain totals, he should be able to get those no problem. So now we're going to move on to item C. As Peter noted in the bills, we pulled the boat out for a couple days and had maintenance done on it, the 20-hour service, so that we still came in, our warranty is still valid. We had to get that done. We got that done. Boat's back in, fully operational.
Let me also add the item on the, we repowered the boat, Mike, so this season we have a significant capital fund that we've accrued over time that allows us to reinvest in repowering the boat and significant capital expenses. So we did repower the boat. We do have the old engine, which I believe is a 2006, 600 hours roughly. We went through the process. I sent the notification out to all of the relevant town commission members that we had a motor available for purchase. If any of the other town agencies had interest, no one replied. And I then did hear from town hall, who referred us to the purchasing department that has the role, as I'm told, to handle the disposal of the old motor, in public sale at the highest price. And so I've only asked if we could ensure we set a minimum value for that, and I'm waiting to hear back. But Ed, I copied you and Bob on the procedure.
Yes.
So if we all agree with that procedure, as soon as I hear back, I'm assuming we can set a minimum value. We would do that and document the engine and controls and turn it over to purchasing.
Okay.
What happens if you don't make the minimum bid?
I'll get that question answered as well, but I'm not talking about an enormous number, but you know, I don't want somebody picking it up for, you know, $50 either. So, you know, we probably, I mean, I'm assuming we'd set a minimum value at least, you know, $1,000, $1,200, if not more. So at least we have a floor, and the proceeds would then go back into our capital fund.
Okay, I agree on that, getting that floor number
Yeah.
in there. And I know there had been discussion about just selling it outright for a price, but I know I've had 2 or 3 parties ask about it, so we might as well try and get it as much as we can.
Yeah, I think that's our obligation to the commission, that we do maximize the value of it. I mean, the numbers I've heard seem pretty light. I think we could probably do better.
Right, I agree. Okay. We're going to move down to stocking. We have Chris Walston chomping at the bit to get 2 runs of stocking in, maybe even this week. Each stocking is between 40 and 50 bags. I believe $58 a bag is the price. It's either $58 or $60 a bag that we've been paying. The hardest thing we have right now is either having commission members get on the boat and help, or to meet Chris, or have him do it himself. But he does have, so that's roughly, let's see, 45, that's roughly 18,000 little necks he has available to us. That would be 45 bags on each run. We would need to approve that, make a motion to approve that if everybody's in agreement. I know we have the money in the budget.
Yep.
And I know clams tend to be hard to get to stock. So, you know, I think we should my feeling is we should take this opportunity, but I'll leave it up to the commission. And if somebody wants to make a motion either way, and we can vote on it.
Just one, I'm just looking at the tide. So high tide, 6:21 a.m. and 6:34 p.m. on Friday. Tomorrow it's nasty weather, but I think Friday's supposed to be nice.
And he does it, we have to get them from him at low tide.
So we got low tide at noon.
Right, on Friday.
Yep.
So I don't know if anybody's available. I'm sure with his
Yeah, I checked my calendar. I'm not. I have a large meeting this Friday.
Okay.
That I oversee.
Okay. I can also check with John Hall and Tony. And Bob, I can reaffirm with him, but I think Bob was tied up with work this week. I know I am on Friday. I can't be
I'm
there.
stuck with work too.
Okay.
I'll work on Friday.
But do we still want to make the motion for this purchase of seed or of stocking clams?
It can't be next week.
We can try and push it off with Chris, but I don't know.
I'm available Thursday, but not Friday.
All right. I can get in touch with Chris after this, and I might have some available next week on Monday also, if Chris could hold off until then. So let me see what I can work out. He did say he would have his brother with him and was willing to distribute the clams in the areas that we tell him to, in the quantities we tell him to. And, I'd ask for photographs of the bags of clams and all that, just to make sure we have some sort of check that they are going in. So.
Just one
I'll be
question.
available
What
on
was the
Monday.
estimated expenditure for the stocking?
What was how much expenditure? Hold on,
What do we estimate?
Let me get my handy dandy dual smartphone.
Said 58 bags, $60 or something a piece.
About 90 bags
90 bags.
times, I'll just say 60 just to be on the high side. About $5,400.
Yep. Okay.
So if somebody wants to make a motion.
To make a motion that we commit to the spend for stocking the beds.
Okay. You want to maybe up to $5,500 or?
No more than 6,000,
Okay,
so we have a buffer.
okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. That was stocking. I think Bob Berger is going to be probably getting some information together about the seating that we'll want to do later in October with ARC out of Massachusetts. I know he's been corresponding with them. Unfortunately, he couldn't make the meeting tonight and didn't get the information to me, but that will be forthcoming. I think we might have already approved that in a past meeting. I can check on that also. That's all I have on stocking. Finance. Back to Mr. Charland.
Yeah, I did not get a statement from the town prior to this meeting, so I have nothing to report there. But we had some timing issues on collections as we closed the last fiscal year. But I think that we carried our flat budget into this fiscal year, and seems like our revenues are tracking. And as we get into the website, there's some things that I'm going to propose we do with the town hall not selling licenses that will ensure the public has access to licenses, which has been somewhat of an issue. But the financial statement, even though I can't report from the town on the current financial statement, we're in great shape.
Okay. Great to hear. I think we're probably one of the beneficiaries of this whole quarantine stuff. So let's move on to special projects.
Okay, I have an announcement to make. We have a new health director, Sonia Marina. She's taking over from Dennis Johnson, who retired last week. She will be the one that will be getting the rainfall data for us to run the commission. Taking over in full by this Friday. So Dennis is breaking her in on procedures that are being used for the health department and the Shellfish Commission.
Okay.
I'm also working with the town of the health department part-time for doing restaurant inspections, but I also help her out with making sure the rainfall comes in on time, the data comes in on time to our commission.
Okay.
Is there any chance, John, that we could invite her to the next meeting? I don't know who this
I think so. Yeah, probably next meeting would be better. She's pretty busy right now because there's a lot of stuff going on. I think it'd be good for her to come to the commission meeting so she can see everybody and she's pretty good. I worked with her once before in Old Lyme, and she was past health director in Westbrook. She then went to Stanford for a while. Then she was between Killingworth and Chatham health departments, running halfway between. She with Dennis retiring, it's a more lucrative position, more money for her to be a full-time director in Guilford.
Terrific.
I'll probably reach out via email to her.
Yeah, I don't know if she has an email yet. She just came in yesterday, but I think just get a hold of Dennis Johnson's email, and he'll relay the information to her.
All right. These are weather links and stuff like that. We'll make sure she has the proper access. And
she'll need all the emails and connections and all.
And if she happens to change passwords, I use those same passwords, so I would need updates.
Yeah, right. It's going to change.
Or we would. I would say we
Friday. Yeah.
So, all right. Well, thanks for that information. Yeah. Anything else on special projects?
That's it for me. That's just that one announcement.
Okay. We'll move on to signs. We've been pretty much staying open, luckily. I think that one rainstorm we were supposed to get bad, I think we got like 0.98 of an inch. So we stayed open by 2/100ths. Makes up for
they haven't changed to 3 inches yet?
No, I think if anything, it'll change to 1.5 inches or 2 inches, and that'll probably be December or January. The state does. So the state's the one that qualifies it through the health department, through the federal FDA. So they do an annual report, and that annual report takes the statistics, I think for the last 3 to 5 years is what they look at to get it requalified. So So it's a pretty big project for them to get these annual reports for each town out to the FDA. So last year they concentrated on Madison. This year, hopefully they're concentrating on Guilford. I know last year Madison, they announced it in January at the meeting of the commissioners there. So hopefully we keep inquiring, keeping that buzz in their ear that we want to get that upgraded to a higher rainfall total so they don't forget about us. So more to come, hopefully. Positive to come. So with that, the signs are good. We'll go on to the website. I see we're getting views on the page a lot. But I'll bow to Peter on any other.
Yeah, a couple things. Just again, a reminder, it's a broader category of the website. We might rename this social media because we are streaming live right now on our Facebook page for Guilford Shellfish Commission. We record this. The recordings not only go back to the town for record, but they are handed off now to GCTV, Guilford Community Television, and they rebroadcast our meetings. I believe it's 3 times is their limit. So we're one of only a few of the commissions that have really taken that next step. And I still believe it's more continued focus on creating awareness in the community of what Guilford Shellfish Commission does for the town and the benefits for the community at large. The other aspect for a website is Alan Brown had an excellent idea. One of our challenges has been access to purchasing licenses. Guilford Town Hall was a place where people would go to purchase a license. That's been suspended indefinitely with the pandemic. What we do not have on our website are the places where you can buy them easily found. And Alan suggested we add his name and number for people who want to buy licenses, as he always has them as the warden down at Great Harbor. So what I proposed and socialized the few of you is that we add the information to the website on where you can get licenses as well as contact information. We would also add that to obviously to our Facebook page.
You want to make a motion to add that, or do we need to make it?
Propose we modify our web page on the Town of Guilford site to provide information on how to readily purchase licenses.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I think myself and my wife might like some of that off our shoulders.
So do we
We
actually,
should put your name on there.
Put my wife's name, she'll love it. We have more tape on the front. Sorry, Keith, go ahead.
do we try to get licenses sold on the webpage?
I think that's something we're definitely trying to look at. Peter and I have talked high level about that. The state has sent out some stuff where they might be creating a system that the towns would be able to use independently as a town. So we are weighing some options on that. I know there were a few that I kind of did off, I took a picture of the license and sent that to the person when they Venmo'd me the money personally. But that, I don't like getting into the personal Venmo accounts back and forth on that. But this was just trying to do what I could to get people licenses. Because even Captain Morgan's he would only sell them Monday through Wednesday if you scheduled your time ahead of time. And there's been we're making a lot of changes and trying to be accommodating during the pandemic. So, and it seems to be one of the activities that is popular.
I tell people that they can contact me anytime they want. They can come down and knock on my door. So if they give me a call, I'll be happy to get their licenses for them. 7 days a week, as long as I'm here. Come over and knock on the door and I'll give you a license. And I seem to be pretty happy with that. The problem with the thing where you're going to give them a license and then you're going to send them an email of their license and their number, and you're going to mail it to them. Some of these people are not getting these licenses back for whatever reason, lost in the mail or whatever, and they forget to bring their cell phone. Now they don't have their cell phone, and now they can't go clamming. So it is a little bit of a problem with that kind of a situation.
Yeah, that's absolutely our issue, Alan, with having digital licenses, because I actually have access to an app that we could use and people could download, and they would have a digital image of their license with a number. But we don't want people going out clamming in the bay carrying their cell phones. So we actually need a waterproof hard copy of something. And
No, they can leave their license, I mean, their cell phone in the car. That's not a problem. But even bringing it down, and sometimes that's a problem for them.
Right, but I mean, like you said, on a cell phone, you could have a dead battery also.
Yep.
So if we could get some sort of app where they could print out a hard copy also or something.
So we've got to look at our options here.
I just had a guy come in, not to change the subject, but had a guy come in 2 days ago, and he showed me his clams. He's a resident. He can get 4 gallons. He had about a gallon clams. He said, "You see these clams?" He said, "Yeah." He says, "They cost me $800. He had a cell phone, brand new cell phone in his pocket.
Oh, geez.
Oops.
Okay. So I think we're
A
good.
question for you regarding licenses. Does everyone that's on the commission carry a pack of licenses that they can sell to people if somebody wants them? How does that work?
Most people do. Some people, I guess, don't want the, I don't know, I won't say responsibility, but aren't available enough and don't think it would be beneficial to carry, so they don't. But most people have a couple on them. That kind of thing. Or again,
I brought mine from Peter in the past.
right.
So I need that.
Yeah, like I know, like Alan kind of handles a lot at Trolley Road. Greg Marsh has sold a lot at over at Shell Beach. He's another warden, and he has a house over there. And they actually put it in their newsletter. And he was at one time overrun with people coming to him also. So yeah, we try and get them out there any way we can. And Warden Hill also, Fred Hill has been selling them at the town marina with permission of his boss when he's on duty there, within reason, not, one here, one there kind of thing, not all day, any day thing, because he does have another job to do there, but we're trying to get options out there for people. All right. So I'm going to move on to updates. Have anything on land acquisition?
A little bit of action. You've probably seen the paper that they've subdivision up on Long Hill Road. They have donated 38 acres of land for conservation trust. And also there are a few we call orphan parcels that are going to be sold by the town that are in the Mulberry Point area that are in the woods. That's about it. Nothing much more beyond that.
Okay. Nothing that will influence shellfishing.
Nothing with shellfish. No, it's all interior lots.
All right. With that, we can move on to Sea Grant.
I have no report to file.
Okay. Harbor Management, Keith and John.
We're actually having our next meeting is going to be on the green, social distance. We have 2 new prospective people for the commission. So we want to meet them. So we're starting at 6 o'clock on the 4th
Okay.
Wednesday.
All right. And this is just a side note for Mike. There's, in our charter, there's certain commissions or boards where we need liaisons to. So like land acquisition in our charter says we have to have kind of a liaison to find out what's going on with that in case any land acquisition for maybe parking or shellfish access or anything like that might come available for those types of things. Or harbor management, we like to keep in touch with them about moorings and different projects that might go on the harbor. So we have a liaison with that board or commission. So there's a few that were in their charter says we have to have liaisons to. So that's why we're reporting on those boards and commissions. So we will move on to docks, moorings, and other potentially impacting projects.
Okay, we've had a little bit of crowded beaches down in our area in Indian Cove. A lot of people are going to the Cove because of they always allow so much at the town beach. A lot of people have been coming in that are not residents, and just that they're violating COVID protocols, not wearing masks and staying bunched together. I myself, I live there, but I don't go to the beach at all unless it's empty.
Okay.
And the parking's been a little testy in some spots, but these people move the cars along as they try to park in different areas.
Okay. All right. We will, with that, we're going to do old business. Item A, review shellfish management plan. That's what I was explaining earlier. Will be coming up in December or January when they update our plan. So we're still waiting on the state. Item B is already done. I should take that off. Item C, we touched on selling of the boat and motor. And also item D is kind of goes with item A. So that's a no thing at this point. Going to move on to new business. In new business, would like to get our licenses ordered by October 1st this year.
Different person?
Yes, and that was going to be one of my items. Does anybody have recommendations, thoughts?
Change the colors.
Would anybody like to maybe help pick up getting these ordered with a new vendor or speaking with a new vendor? Is there anybody that could or would be willing to or would like to help with that?
I'd be happy to. I don't know who the printing vendors we would speak with, however.
All right.
If you want to point me in the right direction, I'll be all over it.
Okay. Nope. I know. I mean, you can go big in corporate like a Kinko's FedEx type place, or we can look for mom and pop places. I think John Hall had somebody he might have known or somebody in Middletown. I don't know if we want to try and keep it more local. But I agree we should get a new vendor. That was pretty horrific trying to get those last year.
So I could call you, Ed, or John. I'd be happy to help here. Just
Okay.
really want to know what the kind of paper stock that we need because of the water situation and
Right.
printing.
And I have some blanks, and I think I have a PDF of what we need on it, of the design. So we can get that, but it might be something one of us has to bring right to the printing place. I know it's a waterproof type paper.
Yep, I
Might
could
need
do that.
special
Then
ink to print
perhaps
on
I
it.
could ask Alan Brown to help with the color selection, being a warden that deals with this all day long.
Okay.
Ed and Peter, just a quick comment. My wife Patty helps out with the Guilford Fair book every year. She sells all the ads to the businesses in town, and it used to be Royal when Lou Weedy was around, but obviously with them being gone and the business sold and the building closed, she uses Minuteman Press in East Haven, and they have done the fair book for the last year or two. She has some contacts there that might be worth a shout out to them
Sure.
to see if they can
Definitely.
access that. As long as they weren't the previous vendor that helped
No.
out, doesn't sound like that was too favorable.
No,
That'd be
they were
great, Mike.
not.
I'll reach you on that.
Mhm.
Thanks for that. All right. I think that's all I have on new business. But
So I won't be here. I won't be here next month.
okay.
So I will be available, but I won't be. I'll be in Florida.
Oh, tough life.
It's hot there.
Just one thing on the sampling. Are we online with the meat samples?
The state, whatever the state's asked for, we've provided.
I'm saying for a while we're having a problem with that. We weren't getting the samples. Are we getting them?
We're up to date on all sampling.
Okay. Now, if you want, when you're going to bring the sampling to Milford and we need a meat sample, I can give you that meat sample that exact day.
Okay.
You know, I can give you, so you don't have to have, the guy doesn't have to figure out how he get in the water to get the sample. You know, I can take care of your samples. Well, all he's got to do is call me and say, I'm going sampling on this day, and that day I'll go out and get the sample for him so he can pick it up and it'll all be in place so we don't get behind on that.
Yep, nope, the state says we're up to date, so we're going on what they're saying, and until they ask for it, we're good to go.
I motion we adjourn.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Have a great night, everyone.
Take care, guys.
All right, thank you.
Mike, thanks for coming.
Thanks
Yes,
for having
thank
me
you.
on, folks. Have a great night.
Hope we didn't scare you away.
No, not at all. Takes more than that, Ed.
Take
I
care,
know.
guys.
Take care, everyone.